The galaxy had grown quiet in a strange and painful way. Not the quiet of peace. It was the quiet of fear. Human colonies no longer sent messages. Trade routes that were once bright and busy now floated cold and empty. The enemy pushed forward every week, taking more human territory, burning cities, and turning proud worlds into silent ghosts. At the edge of this collapsing frontier stood Outpost Helios 9, a lonely defense station built above a dying red star. Its crew of 30 humans lived under constant pressure. Their job was simple: watch, report, survive. But deep inside, every crew member lived the same fear. They expected the enemy to appear in front of them one day, and they knew they could do nothing to stop them. On one long night shift, the station lights flickered. Officer Mira Keen leaned over the sensor panel. She rubbed her tired eyes. She thought the screen was glitching again, like it often did. But then the numbers changed too fast, too violently to be a glitch. A large energy spike suddenly appeared on the far edge of the system. Mira frowned. "What is that?" She expanded the signal. Her heart skipped. This was not a normal warp signature. It twisted the readings, bending the energy waves like they were being pulled through something sharp. She called out, "Commander Rourke, you need to see this." Commander Rourke walked quickly onto the deck. He was old, angry at life, and tired of losing. But what he saw on the screen pushed all the exhaustion out of him. A swirling field of storm-like energy filled the sensors. The outpost trembled slightly. Something massive was entering real space. "Is it the enemy?" Rourke asked. Mira shook her head. "I don't know. I've never seen a signature like this." The crew gathered around the main screen. Even the engineers left their tools behind. Everyone stared as the energy storm grew brighter, as if a sun was trying to punch its way into normal space. Then the sensors froze for a moment. A silence took over the room. Even the air felt heavier. Space tore open. A giant shadow broke through the swirling energy clouds. It looked like a mountain wrapped in metal. Its hull plates were covered in dark armor that absorbed light instead of reflecting it. Its engines glowed blue, but the glow was cold, like frozen fire. Officer Mira whispered, What is that thing?" The station alarms blared as the outpost identified the object. Name, USS Blackstar class, unknown status. Classified. Commander Rourke took a slow breath. "So it's real." The room went silent. Everyone knew the name. The Blackstar was a rumor told quietly across human space. A secret human dreadnought built for one purpose: to end a war in a single day. Some believed it was an old military project. Others thought it was just a story made to give people hope. But now, here it was. In front of them, the Blackstar did not move at first. It simply floated there, enormous and silent, as the energy storm faded behind it. The ship was so large that its shadow covered parts of the outpost. Its presence felt heavy, like gravity itself bowed around it. "Try sending a signal," Rourke ordered. Mira sent a transmission. "USS Blackstar, this is Helios 9. Do you copy?" No reply. She tried again. "Blackstar, respond." "Identify your mission." Still nothing. The ship remained cold and silent. Its engines hummed lightly, but the sound felt more like a warning than a comfort. Lieutenant Harlan, the youngest officer, swallowed nervously and said, "Sir, what if no one is alive on that ship?" Rourke frowned. A ship that large? Impossible, but even he didn't sound confident. The Blackstar suddenly shifted. Not fast, not abrupt, but slowly, like a predator waking up. Its front cannons moved slightly, adjusting. Its engine light grew brighter. "Is it powering weapons?" Harlan asked, fear tightening in his voice. "Scan it," Rourke said. Mira scanned. Her eyes widened in shock. "The energy buildup is massive. Sir, this is not a normal power-up. It's preparing for something big." Rourke clenched his jaw. "And we have no idea what its target is." The outpost now felt smaller than ever before. The giant ship seemed to fill the entire star system with its presence. And still it gave no explanation. No message, no orders. Not even a warning. Somewhere deep inside the ship something glowed. A faint red pulse traveled along the hull like a heartbeat. Mira stared. That is not human design." Rourke turned sharply toward her. "What do you mean?" "The patterns. The pulse frequency. It looks human but also different, as if the ship evolved." Her words only created more questions. Outside, the Blackstar rotated slowly, pointing its massive nose toward the distant star field. Its engines ignited fully, bright streams of blue energy firing outward. The outpost shook lightly. Rourke stepped closer to the window, watching with an uneasy expression. "Where are you going?" But then the station picked up another signal. Multiple warp signatures. Enemy ones. Dozens. No, hundreds. They were heading straight toward the sector. The crew felt their blood freeze. Mira's voice broke. "Sir." "The enemy fleet is coming," Rourke whispered. "Then we may finally see why this monster came here." The Blackstar still didn't speak. It didn't warn. It didn't explain, but its engines burned brighter, like a silent promise of fire. The enemy fleet grew closer every second. The Blackstar began to move. Slow, heavy, purposeful. The crew of Helios 9 watched, unable to breathe. They didn't know if this ship was their salvation or another unstoppable nightmare. All they knew was this: the arrival of the USS Blackstar had just changed everything, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The USS Blackstar moved like a giant creature waking up after a long sleep. Its engines glowed brighter and the deep hum inside the ship grew stronger. The crew of Outpost Helios 9 watched from their narrow windows, unable to look away. The dreadnought was beautiful in a dark and dangerous way. It carried a presence that felt older than the war itself. Mira kept her eyes on the sensors. The enemy fleet's signatures were growing. Not just a small group. Not a patrol. This was a full strike force. Maybe the largest formation the aliens had ever sent into human space. "They're not here for us," Mira whispered. Commander Rourke nodded slowly. "They're here for the Blackstar." As if hearing his words, the Blackstar shifted again. The massive ship angled its front cannon toward the center of the coming fleet. Its energy lines lit up across the hull, forming patterns that pulsed gently like veins carrying power. Every pulse grew brighter. Every second felt heavier. "They know," Lieutenant Harlan said. "The aliens know this ship is here. They're coming to destroy it before it enters the war." Rourke crossed his arms. "Let's pray they fail." The enemy fleet finally dropped out of warp. Helios 9 trembled as dozens of enormous ships appeared across the dark. Their gold and crimson hulls glowed with cruel beauty. They came in tight formation, prepared, disciplined, and confident. The largest alien battleship opened a channel. A deep voice filled the outpost speakers. The alien war leader himself. "Humans," he said in a cold tone. "Your myths die today." No one answered. No one needed to. The Blackstar was the only reply they needed. The war leader laughed. "We see your toy ship. It will burn. Then you will follow." Multiple alien cruisers locked weapons on the Blackstar. Missiles, plasma bolts, and beams charged up. Their weapons shone brightly, lighting the dark like a hostile sunrise. "They're firing," Mira said, and they did. In a single wave, hundreds of plasma blasts shot toward the Blackstar. Every ship fired at once. The light was blinding, like a storm of molten stars raining down. Harlan gripped the console. It can't survive that." But the Blackstar did not move. It didn't even try to dodge. The giant dreadnought stayed still, absorbing the storm. Its armor plates heated up, glowing faint red, then cooling again almost instantly. It was like watching a mountain stand in a hurricane. A silent, unshakable mountain. The outpost crew gasped. "Impossible." The enemy fleet fired again, stronger this time. A massive beam cannon blasted the side of the Blackstar, creating a wave of white-hot fire across its hull. Still, the ship did not move. The alien war leader's voice turned frustrated. "Destroy it! Break that cursed thing." Rourke leaned closer to the window. "What are you waiting for, Blackstar?" The dreadnought finally reacted. A low vibration spread across space as if the ship itself exhaled. The lights along the hull brightened, forming sharp lines of fire. The front cannon shifted, locking onto the enemy flagship. Inside Helios 9, the crew felt the air thicken. They weren't just watching a ship power up. They were watching something ancient awaken. Mira checked the readings. Her voice shook. "This energy, I don't understand it. No human ship has ever held this level of power." "It's waking up," Rourke said. "Fully waking up." The Blackstar's engines shut off completely. The ship floated silently, all its systems focusing on one thing, its main weapon. The enemy fleet saw it. They panicked. The alien war leader shouted, "Scatter your ships! Do not let it lock onto us!" But they were too slow. The light inside the Blackstar's front cannon grew brighter and brighter until it looked like a newborn star trapped behind metal. Harlan whispered. It's charging something. The glow turned white. Space bent around the cannon. Then it fired. Not a beam. Not a laser. Something deeper. Something denser. Something that felt like compressed light, pushed into a line so thin it could cut reality. The shot tore through the enemy fleet. Ships didn't explode. They disintegrated. Their metal shells turned into glowing dust. Their engines became bright particles that scattered like sparks in the dark. The beam carved a straight path, destroying everything in its way before fading. The entire attack lasted less than 3 seconds. Helios 9 went silent. Every crew member stared in shock. None of them could speak. Finally, Mira whispered, "What kind of weapon was that?" "Human," Rourke said softly. "And something else." The enemy fleet panicked. Smaller ships broke formation and tried to flee, but the Blackstar moved for the first time since the firing. Slowly, it advanced forward, pushing deeper into the field of broken ships. Its hull glowed with a soft blue light, almost peaceful, if it hadn't just erased dozens of vessels. More enemy ships fired, but the Blackstar barely shook. Its shields absorbed everything. The dreadnought felt invincible. Rourke exhaled. "It's a monster, but it's our monster." The alien war leader tried one last message. His voice trembled now. "Human dreadnought. Identify your purpose." The Blackstar responded for the first time. A single message. Cold, calm, final. Humanity stands. The war leader fell silent. The Blackstar's engines surged again, glowing brighter than ever. It was hunting now. One by one, it targeted the enemy ships. Each slow rotation of its weapons felt deliberate, heavy, and final. Mira watched the scene and whispered, "This ship, it's not just fighting the war, it's ending it." Rourke nodded, eyes locked on the dreadnought. "But what happens," he said quietly, "when something this powerful decides it has no more use for us?" The Blackstar fired again, shaking the stars. And the war truly began. The battlefield had changed completely. The enemy fleet, once confident and loud, was now broken and scattered. Pieces of alien ships floated across space like burning snow. The quiet after the destruction felt unnatural, almost too calm. Outpost Helios 9 watched in silence as the USS Blackstar advanced through the debris, moving with the slow, certain steps of a creature that knew it was unstoppable. Mira stared at the sensor screen. "The enemy. They're pulling back." Commander Rourke shook his head. "Not all of them, look. More alien ships jumped in from hyperspace. Not as many as before, but enough to show they weren't done. The aliens were not just angry, they were afraid. Fear made them dangerous. Their war leader opened a wide-band broadcast. His voice was no longer calm. It was sharp, rushed, almost desperate. "All ships flank the human dreadnought. Do not let it fire again. Overload its shields." Alien fighters swarmed forward like insects in a storm. Dozens of small crafts circled the Blackstar, blasting its shields with rapid plasma bursts. Their shots created waves of glowing ripples across the dreadnought's armor, but the Blackstar didn't react, it didn't speed up, it didn't dodge, it didn't even aim at the smaller targets, it moved forward, unbothered. Harlan watched with both fear and admiration. "It's like they're flies hitting a tank." Mira zoomed in on the ship's surface. No, worse. The Blackstar's shields aren't even dropping. It's not using full power. Rourke frowned. It's saving power for something bigger. The enemy fighters realized they weren't hurting the dreadnought at all. Still, they attacked. Fear pushed them. Orders pushed them. But their shots only lit the Blackstar brighter, reflecting off its dark armor like sparks flying off a steel giant. Suddenly, the Blackstar stopped. Just stopped. The fighters around it stumbled, changing direction quickly, confused by the sudden halt. Mira leaned closer to the screen. "Why did it stop?" Rourke's voice was low. "Because it found something." And it had, far behind the enemy fighters. An alien command carrier was approaching. Massive, sharp, covered in glowing symbols that marked it as one of the enemy's elder war machines. Its engines pulsed with heavy red light, and its cannons were already turning toward the dreadnought. This was no normal ship. This was a fortress. The war leader's voice appeared again, now booming with confidence. "Human dreadnought. Your weapon is strong, but this ship is stronger. You destroy our children. Now face our ancestor." The carrier charged its supercannon. The energy gathering at its front was so bright that even the outpost's windows tinted automatically. Mira whispered, "Sir, that blast could crack our station in half." "It won't hit us," Rourke answered quietly. "It's not aiming at us." The Blackstar rotated to face the carrier. Its lights dimmed. Its hull felt colder. Even the energy pulsing inside seemed to pause, as if the ship was measuring its opponent, deciding how serious this threat was. Then the enemy supercannon fired. A gigantic beam of red energy shot across space like a lightning strike stretched thin. It hit the Blackstar directly in the front armor. The impact was so violent the outpost shook as if hit by a shockwave. The Blackstar vanished inside the explosion. Helios 9 went dark for a moment. Lights flickered. Panels reset. Crew members hit the floor. When the screens came back online, smoke floated in space. Harlan whispered, "No, no." But as the explosion faded, something moved inside the cloud. Slowly, the Blackstar emerged. Its armor glowed hot, cracked in small places, but intact. "Completely intact," Mira whispered. "That blast, it didn't even break through." Rourke exhaled. "Now it's angry." For the first time since its arrival, the Blackstar's hum changed. It was no longer slow and steady. It grew deeper, harsher, almost like a growl. The lights on the hull brightened, spreading from front to back in long, sharp lines. The dreadnought lowered its massive wings. Then hidden compartments opened. Rows of weapons emerged. Some looked like cannons. Some looked like missile bays. Some looked like nothing the humans had ever seen. Mira watched in shock. It was holding back the whole time. The enemy war leader screamed into the broadcast, "All ships, stop that thing! Stop it now!" But it was too late. The Blackstar fired again. This time, not a single beam, not a single strike, but a wave. A wide arc of blue-white energy blasted outward, spreading like a sweeping blade. Fighters caught in the wave simply vanished. Cruisers broke into halves. The enemy carrier's shields flared violently, struggling to stay alive. The wave passed, leaving a giant curved line of destruction across the battlefield like a wound carved into space. Harlan let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. This isn't a ship. This is a literal war-ending machine. But the fight was far from over. The alien carrier fired again, this time with rapid-fire plasma bursts. The shots hit the Blackstar, pushing it slightly but not stopping it. The dreadnought kept advancing, firing smaller weapons to clear the path. It was heading directly for the enemy command carrier. The alien war leader shouted frantic orders. "Defend the ancestor! Focus fire!" Dozens of ships tried to shield the carrier. They formed a wall of metal in front of it. The Blackstar didn't slow down. It charged forward, pushing through them. Its armor tore through smaller ships like glass. Explosions lit up its dark frame, but nothing stopped it. Every second it moved closer, 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 until its front cannon glowed again, and the galaxy felt fear. Mira whispered, "It's going to fire." "And this time it won't miss," Rourke nodded slowly. "This will break the war." The Blackstar fired. The shot hit the enemy carrier. Silence followed. Bright fire spread across the massive ship, splitting it open like a cracked planet. Energy leaked, hull plates peeled away, and the ship collapsed in on itself before exploding into a giant sphere of light. The aliens broke. Their formation shattered. Ships jumped away in panic. The fleet retreated completely. The battlefield belonged to the Blackstar. And for the first time, humans dared to hope again. The battlefield was finally quiet. Only drifting pieces of broken alien ships floated in the dark. Small fires burned silently in space, glowing like dying stars. The USS Blackstar moved slowly through the debris field, scanning the remains, hunting for any surviving enemy command ships. Inside Outpost Helios 9, the crew was speechless. They watched with wide eyes as the dreadnought glided across the battlefield like a silent guardian, or a silent executioner. No one was sure which one, Mira whispered. It destroyed their carrier. Alone, Commander Rourke didn't answer. He kept watching the screen, trying to understand the ship's purpose. The Blackstar was human-made, yes, but its behavior felt different, like it followed a mission only it understood. Harlan leaned closer to his console, Sir, new warp signatures, Mira tensed. Enemy? Yes. But these readings are strange. Rourke moved forward. Show me. The sensors displayed a set of massive symbols glowing red on the screen. The ship signatures were enormous. Too enormous to be regular enemy vessels. Mira's face went pale. Sir, these are not warships. Then what are they? Fortresses. Rourke froze. The enemy had fortress ships? Harlan swallowed hard. I thought the one we saw earlier was their biggest ship. Mira shook her head. This is something else. Much bigger. Much older. The entire outpost shook as the largest object dropped out of hyperspace. The screen blinked several times as the ship's size overwhelmed the sensors, and then they saw it, the Dominion Annihilator, nearly the size of a small moon covered in ancient armor. Thousands of glowing red eyes lined. Its hull like scars from past wars, its engines burned with a deep, angry orange, sending waves of heat across the battlefield. Even from a distance, its presence felt frightening. The dreadnought that had destroyed the alien carrier now looked small next to this monster. Rourke whispered, That is their real weapon. The Blackstar rotated to face the giant ship. Its engines pulsed, weapons ready, systems fully awake. The alien war leader's voice filled the wide band channel, but this time his tone was different. Heavy, serious, almost respectful. Human dreadnought, he said. You have destroyed our children, and our guardians. But now you face our ancestor, the Dominion Annihilator. Built before your species touched fire, Mira whispered. Sir, if even half of that is true, Rourke cut her off. We are not the ones fighting it. The Blackstar is. The Annihilator's central cannon began to glow. Not bright, not fast, but deep. A dark red light formed slowly, like magma being pulled from the heart of a planet. Harlan looked panicked. Sir, that energy reading is terrifying. It's bigger than the blast that hit the Blackstar before. Much bigger. It's charging its planet killer, Mira said. Rourke stared at the screen. Then humanity is about to learn if our nightmare ship is truly unbeatable. The Annihilator fired. It wasn't a beam. It was a wave of burning red energy, spreading wide, devouring everything in its path. Asteroids melted. Debris turned into ash. Smaller alien ships that were fleeing were consumed in seconds. The wave hit the Blackstar. The dreadnought disappeared inside the burning ocean of red. Helios 9 shook violently. Lights flickered. Screens went white. Systems overloaded. The energy was so intense it triggered emergency shields around the outpost. For a long moment, the battlefield was nothing but fire. Rourke held onto the console. Please, survive. The flames faded slowly. Smoke drifted, ash floated, and then a silhouette appeared. The USS Blackstar emerged from the firestorm. Its armor was cracked. Parts of its wings were burned. Sparks flickered across its hull, but the ship was alive, still standing, still ready. Mira exhaled in disbelief. It lived, Harlan shook his head. How? How did it survive that? The Blackstar responded. The ship's core glowed with a bright, cold blue light. The cracks along its armor began to fill with energy, sealing themselves. Its wings opened wider. More hidden weapons revealed themselves, row after row of deadly systems. Then the dreadnought sent a message across all channels. Humanity stands, Rourke whispered. It's answering them now. Directly, the alien war leader growled. You think you can challenge the Annihilator? Foolish machine, we will erase you. The Annihilator fired again, but this time the Blackstar moved. Not slowly, not heavily, but fast, far faster than something so huge should be able to move. The dreadnought slid out of the blast path, leaving a trail of glowing blue particles behind. Its engines roared to life, surging with power. Mira stared. How is that possible? That speed, it's unnatural. Rourke didn't blink. It was holding back again. The Blackstar charged toward the Annihilator. Smaller weapons fired from its wings, sending sharp blue beams into the fortress ship's hull. The shots didn't break the armor, but they revealed weak points, areas where the ancient plating was thinner. The Annihilator responded with hundreds of turrets firing at once. The sky filled with burning metal, plasma arcs, shockwaves. The Blackstar dodged, spun, and countered with terrifying precision. Each movement felt intelligent, calculated, purposeful. Harlan whispered, Sir, this doesn't feel like a ship. It fights like a mind. Rourke nodded slowly. I fear you may be right. The two giants clashed in the middle of the broken battlefield. Blue light and red fire mixed across the darkness. Both ships took heavy hits. Both refused to fall. The galaxy had never seen a battle like this. The Blackstar then did something unexpected. It stopped attacking. It pulled away. Retreated slightly. Mira frowned. Wait, why is it pulling back? Rourke's eyes widened as he understood. It's charging something bigger. The Blackstar's core brightened. The Annihilator sensed danger. Its turrets turned. Its cannons glowed. Its engines surged. The two greatest weapons in the galaxy prepared to fire. At the same time, Mira whispered, This is going to decide everything. Rourke nodded, eyes locked on the screen. And only one of them will survive. The battlefield went silent. The Blackstar glowed. The Annihilator burned. Both ships were seconds away from firing, and the galaxy held its breath. The battlefield grew silent in a strange, heavy way. Even the drifting pieces of broken ships seemed to freeze in place. On one side hovered the Dominion Annihilator, glowing like a burning planet. On the other side floated the USS Blackstar, its core brightening with cold blue fire. They faced each other like two ancient beasts ready for the final strike. Every sensor on Outpost Helios 9 went dark for a moment, unable to handle the energy signals. Mira felt her hands shaking. Sir, the readings are off the scale. Commander Rourke didn't speak. He couldn't. The moment felt too big, too important. Even breathing felt difficult. This was not just a battle. This was history unfolding in front of their eyes. The Blackstar's armor lines lit up, running from the nose of the ship all the way to the engine core. Each line glowed like a river of light. Heat waves spread from the ship, bending space around it. The dreadnought seemed to grow larger, like the light around it was forming a halo. Harlan stared at the view screen. It's changing. It looks almost alive. A deep sound rolled through space. It wasn't an explosion. It wasn't engine noise. It was more like a heartbeat. A powerful, echoing pulse that spread across the battlefield. The Annihilator responded. Its ancient metal skin shifted, revealing its own inner weapon, a giant red core hidden for centuries. The core's glow was rough and angry, like fire trapped inside cracked stone. The alien war leader opened a channel, his voice shaking with both pride and fear. Human dreadnought, you have pushed us far. But this is the end. No being survives the heart of the Annihilator. The Blackstar finally answered, Humanity stands, only 2 words, but the voice was different this time. It wasn't electronic, it wasn't robotic, it felt alive. Mira whispered, Sir, that voice, that tone, is this ship controlled by people anymore? Rourke stared at the screen. I don't know, but he feared he did. The Blackstar moved first. A blinding burst of blue light spread across its hull, concentrating into a single point at the front of the ship. The glow grew brighter and brighter until it became impossible to look directly at it. Space around the ship began to twist, forming rings of energy. Harlan checked the readings. Sir, this looks like a weapon we have never seen before. Not even in theory. It's preparing a final strike, Rourke said. One meant for a monster like the Annihilator. The Annihilator responded with rage. Its massive core pulsed, sending thick waves of red fire in all directions. Its cannons pointed at the Blackstar, locking in place, ready to fire. The fortress ship began to tremble under the weight of its own power. The alien war leader screamed orders in his language, desperate and furious. Fire everything. Crush that human abomination! The Annihilator fired first. A red beam shot out, fast and wide, big enough to melt a moon. The energy carved the battlefield in half as it rushed toward the Blackstar. But the Blackstar did not dodge. It lowered its wings, powered its shields, and advanced straight into the beam. The impact shook the entire sector. The outpost panels sparked. Emergency lights flashed. Even the star near the station flickered under the shock. The Blackstar pushed through the beam, slowly, painfully, but it kept moving. Mira stared in disbelief. It's just walking through it, Harlan whispered. That shouldn't be possible. Nothing should survive that. But the Blackstar survived. And as it moved forward, its own weapon reached full charge. A sound like a deep thunder rolled through space. Rings of blue-white energy circled the dreadnought like a shield made of stars. The front of the ship glowed brighter than the sun. Rourke's voice was barely a whisper. It's ready. The Blackstar shattered the red beam, cutting through it like a blade cutting through smoke. Its core pulsed one last time, then it fired, the Starfire lance, a white-blue beam so bright it carved shadows across the nearby star. The beam hit the Annihilator's armor and tore through it, sparking huge explosions across the giant fortress. The weapon didn't stop. It cut deeper, slicing through the ship's internal layers. The alien war leader screamed, "Impossible! Impossible!" The Annihilator fired back, launching every weapon it had, missiles, cannons, red fire, plasma storms. But the Blackstar didn't stop firing. The Starfire lance held steady, pushing through the Annihilator's core. The fortress ship cracked. Metal plates tore away like paper. Energy leaked from its wounds like bright blood. The ship trembled as its ancient systems failed one by one. Mira stared at the readings. "Sir, the Annihilator is collapsing." The fortress ship tried one final attack. A last desperate blast, but it never finished. The Blackstar's beam punched through the central core. The Annihilator exploded. A giant sphere of red and white light expanded, swallowing all remaining enemy ships. The blast stretched far across the battlefield before fading into golden dust. A silence deep and endless spread across the stars. Harlan whispered, "It's over." Rourke shook his head slowly. "No, something like this is never over." The Blackstar floated through the fading fire, its hull glowing with heat, its armor cracked deeply. Sparks flickered. The ship looked wounded, but not defeated. The dreadnought sent one message, only 3 words. Threat eliminated. Continuing mission. Mira blinked. Continuing mission? What mission? Rourke stared at the giant ship as it turned away from the battlefield. "I don't think we ever knew its true mission." The Blackstar's engines ignited. Blue energy stretched behind it like wings, and without waiting for orders, without waiting for thanks, without explaining anything, the Blackstar flew into deep space, toward something unknown, toward something it seemed to sense far beyond human understanding, and the crew of Helios 9 watched the dreadnought vanish into the darkness, with only one terrifying question left in their minds. If the Blackstar wasn't built only for this war, what was it truly built for? The galaxy did not return to peace immediately. Even though the Dominion Annihilator had been destroyed, the echoes of the battle still spread across human space. Emergency channels filled with confused messages, frightened whispers, and hopeful prayers. Many asked the same question again and again. What happened out there? The only witnesses were the crew of Outpost Helios 9, and even they did not know the full truth. The battlefield remained quiet. Ash from destroyed ships drifted in slow clouds. Lightning-like energy sparks jumped between metal pieces floating in the darkness. The war had ended here, but no one knew what came next. The USS Blackstar moved through the ruins like a ghost. Its engines glowed softly, no longer burning with the same violent power. The long battle had wounded it. Cracks still glowed faint blue across its armor, yet the giant ship still looked powerful, still dangerous, still alive. Mira watched its silhouette carefully. "Sir, the Blackstar is not heading home." Commander Rourke already knew. "It's leaving the battlefield," he said quietly. "But not in our direction." Harlan frowned. "But why? The enemy is defeated. Shouldn't it return to receive repairs? Or talk to command?" Rourke shook his head slowly. "I don't think it takes orders from us anymore." The Blackstar paused for the first time. Only for a moment. Its engines shut down completely. Its lights dimmed. It sat still in the darkness, surrounded by silent debris. Then a long-range transmission activated. Not directed at the outpost. Not at any human fleet. It was directed toward deep space. A strange coded signal. A message not written in normal human format. Mira stared at the pattern. "Sir, this code doesn't match anything in our databases." "It's not talking to us," Rourke said. "It's talking to something else." Before they could analyze further, another reading appeared. Not a ship, not a weapon. A signal, faint, old, and coming from deep outside known space. Harlan felt a cold fear rise in his chest. "Sir, what is that? Another enemy?" Mira studied the readings. She shook her head slowly. "No, this signal, it's strange. It's ancient. Maybe older than both species. It's not alien, But it's not human either. Rourke clenched his fists. So the Blackstar wasn't built to fight our enemies. It was built to fight that. The air in the outpost thickened with tension. A new enemy? A new danger? Something worse than the Dominion Empire? The Blackstar's engines ignited again, but this time the glow was different. Sharper, brighter, almost urgent. The giant ship slowly turned toward the unknown signal, aligning itself with perfect precision. Mira whispered, "It's responding to the call." As the crew watched, an unexpected shock hit them. A voice came through the speakers, not loud, not angry, calm, and strangely human. It spoke only 4 words. Phase 2, engaging now. Silence followed. Harlan blinked in shock. "Who said that? A human or the ship?" Rourke whispered. "I think the ship said it." The idea alone felt impossible, but after everything they had seen, nothing felt impossible anymore. The Blackstar began charging its engines for a massive jump. Blue fire expanded across its wings. The cracks on its armor healed faster, filled with fresh energy. The dreadnought looked alive again, ready for another war. But this time its target was not visible on scanners. Not even close. Mira bit her lip. "Sir, should we send a message to Central Command?" "Yes," Rourke said. "Tell them everything. And tell them we may not be ready for what comes next." The outpost broadcasted a full report, but whether Command could understand the scale of the danger, no one knew. Meanwhile, the Blackstar's glow grew brighter. The ship tilted slightly upward, pointing toward the farthest edge of the star map. And then, it sent one last message. Not to humans, not to aliens, to everyone. A message broadcast in every direction. Translated into all known languages. "Prepare your worlds. The true enemy rises." Mira's heart froze. Harlan's hand shook against the console. Rourke closed his eyes. The Blackstar wasn't warning a single species. It was warning the galaxy. The dreadnought powered its jump engines. Space around it rippled like water. The air on the station hummed as the energy built to impossible levels. Mira whispered, "Where is it going?" Rourke answered quietly, "Where we cannot follow." The Blackstar vanished in a flash of blinding blue light. Silence fell on the battlefield. The ashes from the destroyed Annihilator drifted slowly. The remains of enemy ships floated like broken bones. The stars themselves seemed to dim. Harlan finally spoke. "Sir, if the Blackstar was only Phase 1, Rourke nodded grimly. "Then whatever comes next will be worse." The crew stood there for a long moment, staring into the emptiness where the dreadnought had disappeared. Mira placed her hand on the console. "Do you think it will return?" Rourke stared into the dark horizon of space, his voice calm but filled with a heavy truth. "It will return," he said, "either as our savior," he paused, "or as the last warning we will ever." Here the outpost lights flickered. Sensors detected distant tremors in the starfield. Not close, not strong, but there. Something was moving in the dark of deep space, something the Blackstar had sensed before anyone else, and whatever it was, the galaxy had no idea how powerful, how ancient, or how hungry it truly might be. The war they thought they ended was only the beginning.